In this video, I'm going to talk about all the books I use and tried for my JEE preparation. Now, with that statement being said, I want to say that I'll also warn you about the books which I started using, but I cannot follow them because they were not easy to follow for an average student. So, when you start looking for the books on the internet and searching for the books for the reference, you'll come across a hell lot of books and the reviews. Those reviews will completely different from one person to the other. So there a person can say that you should definitely do this book, it's highly recommendable, it's highly important. On the same book, the other person can say that this book is shit and you should never do this book. You should never open this book even. So those opinions would definitely vary from one person to the other. And then it depends on the person who's going to refer those books. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the books which an average student should use so that he or she can develop his concepts in every subject, physics, chemistry, and mathematics. And also, the important part of this video is where I'll tell you about when you should start the book, when you should start a particular section of that book, and how much time you should invest on that particular section of that book so that you can evaluate yourself completely. It's not like you're investing 1 hour completely on a particular section which doesn't need that 1 hour. So I'll tell you the complete breakout of the time which you should invest on one particular section and the other. So let's get started.
When we first met, I was tongue-tied, stupefied. What was it that I said? Probably something.
Starting from physics, the first book which everyone recommend and I am also recommending is H.C. Verma. This book is a must. Now the point is not this. The point is why this book is important and how you should use this book to make the full use of it. So this book is important because it will build your basic concepts. This book is important because of the exercise questions that it has at the end of every chapter. That exercise has a whole lot of variety of questions in it, starting from the first 1 to 10 and maybe 20 questions, which you will find them easy, and going to the last questions where every single question you'll notice will have 4 to 5 concepts that are being used in that one single question. So that's the importance of this book. Now, coming to the point on how you should use this book, we'll start the exercise from the question number 1 and do all the questions in one flow. So, mind my word, don't skip any of the questions, especially the first 10 to 20 questions, thinking that they are easy. I assure you that once you start doing those questions, you'll come across a lot of questions, and when you'll tell your answer to the answer key which is given at the end of the book, your answer won't be same as the answer which is given at the end of the book. And that's where the beauty of this book comes in. It targets those concepts which are weak, and hence it develops those concepts. The next physics book which I used for the preparation was DC Pandey Question Bank. Now this book was different from the other DC Pandays which are available in the market because it didn't have that theoretical part in it. So this was basically a question bank which was divided into various sections: the mains, advanced, integer type questions, and multiple correct questions. Mainly the sections which are there in the advanced pattern of the paper. So I personally skipped the main part because it was as same as the level of the H.C. Verma, and I jumped on to the advanced part which had 30 to 40 questions. In some cases it reached to 50 also, some important chapters, and it required around 3 to 6 hours in which it can be easily, not easily actually, it cannot be easily completed at all because it was a difficult section of that book and it required a lot of concepts. So at max it would require you 6 hours to do that. So yeah, and now the point how you should do this book. You'll first complete the H.C. Verma, all the exercise questions, and then you will come on to this book, and it's your choice then. If you are done with the basic concepts, you can skip the mains part. You can try on it. If you see that it's same as the H.C. Verma, you can skip that as I did, and then you can move on to the advanced part. The rest of the questions I personally didn't do because I was lazy enough not to do that. It's your choice. If you want to do that, if you want to be a pro, you should definitely do that.
Waiting, waiting, waiting. I call you mine. I know you.
Okay, so the next subject is chemistry. Now, just a fun fact here. Before I took a drop, this was my worst subject. I hated this subject because I thought that it's all about cramming cramming and cramming, and with a lot of exceptions in that. So this concept will work in this, and now there's an exception, it won't work in that case. So my mindset changed when I took a drop and referred to this amazing books. So the thing is, chemistry is not about cramming. Chemistry is about a varied concepts. So there are a lot of concepts which you have to take in care, and once you learn those concepts, you'll enjoy that. You'll definitely love the subject. So the fun fact ends here to the line that during my drop year, chemistry was my favorite subject. Okay, so the first book is a physical chemistry book, which is N. Avasthi. Now that is Narendra Avasthi, and that's H.C. Verma for chemistry. Now this may sound weird, but what I want to say is Narendra Avasthi or N. Avasthi will build your basic concepts in chemistry as H.C. Verma does in physics. So this book is basically a question bank. It doesn't have the theoretical part in it. So it has two and more levels in it. And I personally did the first two levels, the first level and the second level. The first level is basic level for mains, for building your concept. This is damn important. Don't miss any of the questions of it. Right? You may find that easy, but again, that's the same case with HC Verma as I explained earlier. So the first level will consist of 100 to 150 questions. That's a breakout of time now. The first 100 to 150 questions of level 1 has to be done in 2 to 3 hours. That's the maximum limit you should target. 2 to 3 hours you have to do the first level in one go, no breaks in between. Right? And then the level 2 consists of 30 to 40 questions of advanced level. So it will require the same time, a little bit less, because as I have noted down in my diary, it required 1 to 2 hours to complete the second level. Now the next chemistry book which I used is an organic chemistry book, and that is Himanshu Pandey. Now this book is a power package of organic chemistry. You should definitely use it. I cannot emphasize it enough. You should definitely use it. Now why? This book will build your concepts again. More than concepts, it will give you advanced level questions. You'll come across a lot of questions. You'll answer those questions, your answer would be correct. But when you will see the solution to that, you'll see that, oh, what I have done. मैंने तो कुछ और ही लगाकर आंसर सही ला दिया. So that's the thing where your concepts goes wrong. मतलब हम लोग कॉन्सेप्ट लगाकर आंसर ले आते हैं, पर वो सही कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं लगाया होता, and that's why we lack in the examination, and we use the same wrong concept which we applied on the question and gets up getting negative marks. Now how to do this book? This book has a whole lot of questions. This book is this much of thick, and you'll start with it has a number of levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3. You can skip up the first level. Skip it. I skipped it totally. It is not required. Move to the next level, second level and the third level. These two levels have the MCQs in that, and do those questions. So it has an online solution for that. Himanshu Pandey, I'll link it down in the description. You can download that, and whenever you feel that you are not finding the answer to the question, don't feel fearful to see in the question in that solution, right? So first try yourself. If you can't do it, look into that. Even if you get the answer, look into the solution to check your concept. You'll come across such solutions and such ways of doing organic chemistry. You will have an expertise in that. I can't emphasize it enough. Now the other point is, do this book only when every chapter of your organic chemistry is done. Now there are two reasons for it. If you'll start doing this book, if your one chapter is done, say basics of organic chemistry is done, and you start doing this book, your mind will be limited to that chapter only. You can think of that only, and it would be easy to do that. But once your halides is done, alcohols is done, carbonyls is done, you'll have a variety of mechanisms with you. So you have to think about all those mechanisms all together, and that's where you have to test yourself. Right. The other reason for that is this book is according to the chapters, halides, then carbonyls, alcohols, like that. But in halides chapter, there are some questions of alcohols. In alcohols, there are some questions of carbonyls, and so on. So the thing is to be on a safer side so that you are not afraid of doing that, do this book once you are done with the whole of organic chemistry theoretical part. So the next book for chemistry is Mauritian Boyd. It's an organic chemistry book, a theoretical one. And the story goes on like this. I heard about this book, I brought this book, I read this book, and that's the end of the story. Because I didn't find this book useful at all for an average student like me. I bought this book because I have heard about this book that it's very important. It has a lot of concepts in it, but I'm not saying that it's useless book. But the concepts are not given in such a manner so that a JEE aspirant can easily see what concepts are given in that. It's all shuffled. You have to scroll a lot and you have to do a lot of work to find out, and still you won't be able to find those concepts in that. So coming to inorganic chemistry, the books I used were both the NCERTs from class 11th and 12th, and one more book I used which I'm going to tell you shortly. So the importance of NCERTs you can realize only if you have gone through the last year question papers of JEE Mains 2019, both from January and April. So the thing is, when NT came in and took off this examination of JEE Mains, then it focused a lot on NCERTs. So in that year, there were a lot of questions which none of the student expected can be there in the examination. So the chapters like chemistry in everyday life. I remember there was a table given in which there were amount of impure substances with no there were amount of some substances which can increase the impurity level of the water, something like that. I don't remember it exactly because it's been 1 year and I don't have any relation to chemistry as of now, so bear with me. And then there were some questions related to the structures of compound. I remember I was going to just leave that part thinking that it cannot come, but I still did it. There were some structures of amino acids, and there was a question in 2020 examination where it asked identify the structure of this particular amino acid, and hopefully and fortunately my answer was correct. So don't underestimate the power of NCERT. The next book which I used was Inorganic Chemistry Question Bank from Ankit Agrawal, and you may not find it very easily because it was given by one of my faculty members of chemistry, and she was good enough to give me that book for 1 year and 3 months. So the book was from Kota, I think. So the people who are living in Kota may find that easily, maybe, and or otherwise you can refer to some other books. But the thing is, the point I want to focus is you should not rely on NCERT completely for some chapters like coordination compounds. Coordination compound is so important. It's really important. Coordination compounds, then chemical bonding, then SPDF blocks. So all these chapters of inorganic chemistry, you cannot rely completely on NCERTs. You have to follow one other book in which you can find some questions related to advanced.
Can't you see what I see? That this is the way it should be.
Now coming to mathematics, it's really simple because you have to do some books which are from the same author. Now the name of the book is Advanced Mathematics for JEE Advanced by G. Tewani. Now it's commonly known as Cengage, so you can easily get this book from anywhere. Now the thing is how you have to do this book. This book is amazing. This book has all the contents you need for JEE Advanced, and in that matter means also. So you'll start doing the theory part of this book, and with the theory part goes on some illustration exercises. Like according to the chapters it will be 2.1, and I think 8 to 10 exercises are there depending on the length of the chapter. So you'll do those exercises to get to know how you understand the theory. The theory part of this book is such that you'll not need a mentor even. So you can do the theory part yourself. You don't need any explanations for that. Now, once we are done with the theory part and the illustration part, then at the end of the chapter, there are some exercises. So the first exercise that you will see is some integer type questions, and then there are multiple choice questions, the MCQs. So I personally did the MCQs because there are a lot of number of MCQs are there in the book, and plus it has a lot of variety of questions in it. Now the time breakout for all the sections of Cengage, I personally did the theory and the illustration part in I think 3 days, in which every day I did them for 4 to 5 hours. So it's possible for For a long chapter, it's possible to do them in 3 days maximum. And if you go to the exercises part, it's I think 1 or 2 days in the same slot of 4 to 5 hours. So you can do those exercises in 2 days of 4 to 5 hour slots. So now you can manage your time accordingly. So these were all the books I use for my JEE preparation. But here I want to add a few points which are really very important. So the first point is this list of books is not at all exhaustive. You can definitely refer to a lot of books, try them, and then use them. The second point is, which comes in continuation to the first point actually, that is, whatever book you choose, you have to do full justice to it. I'm not saying that already know about a book, you definitely don't know about any of the books, so you have to try them. But the proper way to try it is just invest 1 or 2 days in it. Go through the book thoroughly, the content of the book, and then decide in 1 or 2 days maximum if you want to continue that book or not. It's not like you are going through the book for the half of your JEE preparation, doing some chapters from it, and then jumping onto the other book and doing the same chapters again, saying that the previous book was not good. So it's a total waste of time. Now, the last point I want to mention here is don't invest so much time on your theoretical parts. Just start doing the questions and all your concepts will get cleared automatically. Now, here I'm not saying that don't invest any of the time in the theoretical part, but the thing is, throughout your JEE preparation, you will come across a lot of instances where you will be done with the theoretical part, you will move on to the questions, you will start doing them, and then when you will check the answers with the answer key, they won't match. And that's the time when you will say that your theory is not clear. But believe me, it's not the theory which is not clear. You will do the theory again, but there is no point of doing that again and again because the theory is limited and the questions are vast. So when you will do the questions, your knowledge will expand, your concepts will get cleared when you will do the questions. And it will definitely happen in case of organic chemistry. Mind my words, it will definitely happen. But don't do this thing, just keep doing the questions, and more questions, and your knowledge will automatically expand. Your concepts will get cleared automatically while doing the questions. So yeah, that's all the 3 points I want to mention here. And that's all for the video. I'll see you in the next one.
No more playing all this. Waiting. I call you mine. I know you feel the same as I do. No more playing, wishing, waiting. I was taking, baby.